Alright guys, well this is game 6 and we're getting started. No, and by the way, I'm only going to watch like the first period because I have somewhere to be after. So yeah, it's going to be a short stream today. It's going to be a short one today. Because they thought it was a good idea to start at 7:30 instead of 7, like they have before. So
I think tonight's first 10 minutes of this game is going to be crucial for guys like Hitchcock and the rest of the Flyers to get settled in and see if they
the 7 o'clock is Montreal, Tampa. Which I'm also watching, well, I'm keeping track of that game as well.
Up the boards and out. Fourth line on the ice for Pittsburgh. Blake Lazat. Now connecting over for the Flyers. Cleared by Dvorak. And gathered in by Shea. Deflected in by Soderblom. It's an icing call against the Penguins. A minute 33 seconds in. Well, one thing about the Penguins and the experience that they have for Dan Hughes, his first year as a NHL head coach, but he's got a lot of guys on that bench base that certainly have been here and done it, and they are finding a way to get themselves back in this series.
Yeah, and Dan Hughes in his 6th game as a head coach in the National Hockey League really relies on the experience and the veteran leadership on his group, as the guys have been battle tested and been through every scenario here in the playoffs. So good problem to have for Dan Hughes.
Martone sends the puck wide of the net. You had a look at Sidney Crosby on the Penguins bench, back-to-back 2-point games for the Pittsburgh captain. This will be another Penguins icing. And I thought Eric Carlson...
Yeah, I'm surprised they're typically more riled up than this.
We played like we had something to lose early on in the series. To me, that tells me that, you know, you got a bunch of future Hall of Famers there. It could be the last dance, so you play a little tight. You know that this could be it. But since game number 4, they really have found a way to kind of relax, get to their game, and it's been a much different looking Penguins team in the last 2. Winning 4-2 and 3-2. Shot by connecting from long range, missed the net. Held in by Drysdale. Now Dvorak for Philadelphia. Shea over to strip the puck. Following 2 consecutive Pittsburgh icings, Penguins clear the zone, and now Pittsburgh getting some fresh skaters onto the ice. Just underway in Philadelphia. Flyers with their 3rd opportunity to try and close out the series. Here's Drysdale back in his own zone. Now the Flyers go for a change.
Because this goes to a game 7.
Yeah. Well, game 7's back in Pittsburgh.
Fourth line back out for Philadelphia. Wotherspoon on the puck. Lost it. Couturier flips it back out to the left side for a shot by Sanheim. Hard carry off the end boards, and Raquel lifts the puck out. Carried across by Carlson, and the glove save made by Vladar. Once again, we saw the matchup of the Crosby unit and the Flyers' 4th line. Yeah, and I think with Couturier playing with Forster, Forster's a smart defensive player, so with half the way out, I think it's going to be a good matchup for the Flyers. Carlson with a good chance early on in this one. I think for Vladar, he's given up a couple of funny-looking goals in the last 2 games. It's important that he gets back to his game. I mean, he was terrific during the regular season. I think it was like 35 games out of his 50 starts. He only gave up 2 or less. They're going to need that performance from him again here tonight in a closeout situation. I think in the last 2, his game has slipped just a tad. Alex Bump unable to get the puck deep. Here's Chinakhov. Backhand shot off the side of the cage, played by Malkin. Out to the point for Carlson, deflecting and covered by Vladar.
Why are they this?
Good job down there by Noah Cates, boxing out, and to your point, Boucher, allowing
They're relying on their
Dan
goalie.
Vladar to see the
Who?
puck and
Austin
bring him in a
Philly.
good situation
Oh.
early in this
Well,
game.
that's exactly what we did for the first 3 games.
Played terribly in the last 2 games, but 2 goals that he'd love to have.
So they're doing what we did the first 3 games.
It's such a fine line at this time
Maybe
of
not
year,
to
whether
an
you can
extent
shut the
you guys
door
did,
and not
but
give
they're
any
still
life to
good.
the
Right,
opposition.
yeah.
I think for Vladar, this one, it's critical that he gets out of this first period with a clean slate to feel good about his game.
Yeah, if you guys score in the first period,
Then that'll be interesting.
Flyers have outscored the Penguins in the series 15-11. 10-5.
But yeah.
At even strength.
Man. Oh, saved by Vladar.
recovers the puck.
Saved by Vladar.
We'll go back to Game 5, the game winner, after the Flyers had tied it up in 2. Not long after this shot, Vladar not able
Oh
to
yeah, I
catch
still
it.
can't get over that
Bounce
shot
off the stanchion.
from Game 5.
It's a fluky goal. There's no question. I think
It went
Vladar,
behind
the one thing he
Vladar and
probably
then-
wishes is that he could have caught that puck, and once he didn't, bad luck took
And
over.
it
But
was
for
slowly rolling.
Vladar, I think he
Yeah.
just wants to have a clean first period to kind of put that in the rearview mirror, move on, and feel good about his game once again. Letang has scored the game winner in each of the last 2. Now it's Forster. Puck knocked down behind the net by Shilovs. Porter Martone had the game-winning goal in the first 2 games of this series for the Flyers. Now Ristolainen back on the puck. Ristolainen up the boards, knocked down by Brian Rust. Now Raquel keeps it alive for Crosby. Pass was broken up by the stick of Couturier. Now Forster over for the Flyers. Now the pass intended for Couturier, played by Samuel Girard. Into the Flyer zone. Shot missing to the left of Vladar.
It's quiet.
Martone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. 'Cause they're normally more hyped than
Played
this.
4 minutes. Penguins out shooting the
damn.
Flyers 4-1. Puck sent in by Tippett, played by Shea. Shea up the middle, picked off by Owen Tippett. Here's Trevor Zegras. Martone couldn't handle the pass. Quickly back the other way. 3-on-2 come the Penguins. Lazat for Achari, shoots it wide. Martone on it. Once again for the Flyers. Now Tippett. Tippett.
Ooh, saved by Shilovs. And our first scrum. Oh, what happened here?
Players come together. Yeah, Lazat going after Martone. I think Lazat might have just speared Martone in the corner. Martone's in some discomfort. It looked from my vantage point like certainly the motion of a spear. You can see Martone gesturing to Lazat about that.
That's one of the things that the Penguins have to be careful. They gotten a lot of penalty trouble in the first couple games of this series, and the discipline. What about this chance, Boosh?
Yeah, for Tippett, his speed and taking it to the net. I mean, we've seen this a lot towards the end of the regular season for
What a save.
Tippett. A good opportunity and an important save for Shilovs here early on.
Oh,
What a
man.
stretch there with that left pad.
Oh,
And then here's what took
Tippett
place
and
after
then-
Tippett
Tope and then
Lazat to the ice.
Martone.
I assume.
As that play went on, and that's where
Something else.
Lazat, at least it
Lazat,
looked
yeah.
It was
right
Blake Lazat.
vantage point. We let it roll here, just continue when Martone gets back up. Here's Lazat. Now watch the stick. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, they missed that one. He definitely got him there.
Wow. Face-off controlled by the Penguins in a scoreless game. Puck floated along by Carlson. Drysdale on it for the Flyers. Now Bump clears the puck ahead. Here's Kate sent across the line for Michkov. Michkov back out for a shot by Bump. Blocked aside by Shilovs. Alex Bump inserted into the lineup. Prior to Game 5, scored a goal. Had a terrific game. Did not look out of place one bit. His first career postseason game, played in 17 during the regular season. Certainly provided a spark for the Flyers. Here comes Girard. Now Genny Malkin. Pass towards the net off the stick of Chinnikov. Now Malkin with it. Out to the point, Letang. Looking for the stick of Malkin. And now it's Dvorak. Clears it for Denver Barkey. Here's Barkey once again. For Konechny. Puck knocked down by the glove of Shilovs. Shot by Ristolainen. And Crosby looks to control the puck. He clears.
Shilovs with another good save. Had to deal with some traffic there, but was able to find it through and get a piece of it with his glove.
6 minutes in, first period, Game 6 in Philadelphia. Waterspoon Around for Carlson. Carlson lost the puck. Sent back along by Glendening. For Couturier. In front, Foster off his stick. And now a backhand
Oh, what a save by Shelovs. And another scrub, of course.
Couturier and Wotherspoon behind the Pittsburgh goal. Penguins did a good job in games 4 and 5 staying out of this stuff after the whistles. I think it's a big reason why they were able to get back into this thing. But it looks like the temperatures are certainly rising here early on in game number 6.
And there comes the Crosby sucks chance, but he owns your city, so he literally owns your guys' franchise. So I don't know about that.
I think for the Flyers, they've got to get back to that identity. I feel like in games 1 through 3, Biz kind of alluded to it, the way that they played, the style that they played. I think they got away from it in 4 and 5. They have to get back to that. See if they can kind of get Pittsburgh to get unhinged. Big hit by Sealer on Lazat. Juleson battling for the puck. Zegras comes over with a Chari. Puck sent back around. And the Flyers will look to clear. Kept in at the line by Erik Karlsson. Karlsson caught from behind by Zegras. Now Tippett and Karlsson. Tippett comes away with the puck. Now Juleson. 7 minutes in. Game 6 in Philadelphia, no score. Zegras works the puck back for York. And now Drysdale hounded by Chinikov. Gerard on it for the Penguins. Shots are 4 apiece. Chinikov back in his own zone. Gerard, headed by Cates, back onto the stick of Letang. Up the middle, bounced away from Malkin. Malkin pressured by Bump. Bump with a centering pass, blocked off by Gerard. Puck comes to Noah Cates. Cates kicks it up the boards. And now the Flyers with it once again. Hitchcock, unable to get it past Letang. Here comes Malkin. Malkin moving it up. Brodeur makes the stop. Looks like he's trying to get a pass off the pads there for a rebound. Now it's York back into the Penguin zone. Crosby back the other way. Crosby with Rust. Crosby stopped by Brodeur. Now Raquel and Ristolainen beats Scott. Moves the puck ahead. Here's Dvorak coming in 1-on-2. Long shot. And that's handled by Sheeloff. Sent back around by Dvorak. Shea takes a hit from Konechny. Now Crosby unable to clear. Flyers keep it alive. Ristolainen bumped by Crosby. Golovin up the right side for Rust. He moves it into the Philadelphia zone. Fresh skaters on the ice for Pittsburgh. Here's Sanheim. Now Ristolainen. Buck sent in by Barkey. Sheeloff onto the stick of Carlson. Cuts the other way. And now circles back. Here's Anthony.
Here comes the fuck you Crosby chance, but again, he owns your franchise. So you're just coping.
Forster kept it away from Kindle. Carried through the neutral zone by Couturier. Into the right of Arthur Sheeloff. Wotherspoon. Cut by Glendening. Puck played at center by Juleson. Off the stick of Forster and then sent in deep by Sealer. Here's Letang. Pressure taken away by Couturier. They continue to battle. Two veterans. Back out to the left point for York. Over to the right side. Shot by Juleson. And now a turnaround shot by Couturier. Stopped by Sheeloff. Juleson with it once again. Now York. Looking for the give and go with Forster. Puck sent out of the zone by Gerard. And now back down into the Penguin zone. A delayed offside. And now Couturier leaves the zone. Heads for the Flyers bench.
Very good shift there for Couturier. Much more like we saw in games 1 through 3. I think in 4 and 5, Couturier wasn't as impactful, but a good forecheck led to a good chance. He's been on it here tonight.
Talk about that forecheck there, followed up by a couple big saves by Sheeloff. He's been strong in this first period.
Another save here on Tippett. Chari plays the puck up the boards and out of the zone.
Yeah, 6-7. Oh, 6-8. Oh well. It was fun while it lasted.
Getting inside, get a chance for those second chance opportunities.
At least we'll have him 6-9 coming up.
Hit by Martone. Hard work down low. The forecheck by Martone leading to a shot by Sealer. Blocked and then the save by Sheeloff.
Nice, Sheeloff. Nice, Sheeloff.
Now Gerard this
There
time.
oh
The
well.
puck out. Fire back down by Ristolainen. Fans enjoying what they've seen over the last couple of shifts.
Where they stack them together. And the
We
crowd
need
is
to change our
appreciative.
shifts. There we go, 6-9. There we go.
Now it's Crosby. Puck
Oh,
taken
wow.
away by Sealer.
Oh well.
Here's Cates. Off the glass. Out of play. 8:42 on the clock. First period. As the grizzled veterans, Couturier and Letang, continue to battle. No score in Philadelphia.
high sticking.
All right, penalty on the
against
Flyers.
Soderblom delivered a pretty big hit on Drysdale earlier in this period. Talked about the impact that those big guys, he and Mantha, that they had in Game 5.
And I think for both teams, that physicality, and obviously young Ben Kindle in between those two giants there. Here's a look at the penalty, Boosh. All right, right here, Soderblom coming down, just trying to get through, and here's the high stick there. He almost pushes the stick up with his arm, and Drysdale's stick goes up and catches him here. Right there, watch Soderblom's. He kind of lifts that stick and ends up hitting him and gets the call right there because of it. So huge opportunity here in the first period when it looked like Philadelphia had all the momentum. So big opportunity here for the Penguins.
Yeah, interestingly enough, they're calling interference on Drysdale and not the high stick, maybe because of what you mentioned where, you know, Soderblom kind of lifts Drysdale's stick, but they say that Drysdale interfered, and the Penguins get the first power play of game number 6.
They are 3 for 17 in the series. Power play brought to you by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
It's definitely been better.
Puck cleared down ice by York.
For us, yeah. I mean, for us, definitely.
We're like,
Set things up with Crosby,
did not
Malkin,
get a
Raquel,
single power play goal
Rust,
in
and
the first
Carlson.
3 games.
Yeah, I think so. But I know we got a couple in games 4 and 5.
I think you got
Now
one
Chris
in
Mason
game
out to
4,
Carlson.
and then
And now Malkin. Here's Carlson straight away. For
I think
Kenny
you got one
Malkin.
in both, and then
Malkin carries in behind the net. Back up the boards.
those 2
Sidney Crosby.
maybe there was another one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really remember, to be
Back out
honest.
from Rust to Carlson with the Penguins on the power play. Here's Crosby. Malkin back across. Shot by Carlson. Stopped by Vladar. Now Raquel with it for Rust. Out to Carlson. A minute 10 remaining on the penalty. Shot by Rust.
And a save by Vladar.
And Vladar hangs on to it.
Good job by Vladar to
Save
fight through
by
the traffic in
Vladar.
front, find that puck, get an important whistle. You got a minute 6 left on the power play, and at this moment, guys can start to get tired if you can't get the whistle. So good job by Vladar to kind of ice this one down.
Yeah, I think it was a good. He's using his size. You can see him standing up above, looking over Raquel there. 6'5", and as a taller goaltender like that, you have the ability to look over and try to track that puck up at the point, and he's able to make the save and hold on.
Just over a minute remaining on the power play for the Penguins. Now Malkin. Out to Carlson. Watched by Dvorak. Puck comes back around following the Crosby attempt. And now Dvorak to the red line, shoots in, on goal. Turned aside by Arthur Shilovs. Now to 40 seconds remaining on the man advantage for Pittsburgh.
We got a few more tries here.
Yep.
Here's Raquel dropping it back.
Raquel,
Malkin,
nice,
and then
nice, nice, Russ, nice, nice.
Malkin picked
Aw,
up by Ristolainen.
I mean,
Moves the puck ahead.
we've had good chances so far in the power play. Like, I can't even complain.
Good job killing some time on the penalty
You
kill.
definitely have some chances.
Yes.
Down to 15 seconds.
If we didn't have chances, I would be like, okay, that was shit. But we've had
The tag
chances.
back to retreat. Penalty time winding down. Just over 6
You
to
didn't
go.
realize how much time
In
was
this
on the
first
power
period.
play.
Yeah.
2 shots on the power play for the Penguins.
And full
As
strength.
Drysdale
And
makes his
now it's
return.
turned over.
Full strength.
Flyers going off. Now a steal by Zegras. Cross ice for Sanheim. Shot misses the net.
They are
It was
all
superb on the
over
glove
this
side
puck.
there on Shilovs.
Who, the Flyers or the Penguins?
The
Missed it.
Flyers.
I think Philly's doing a really good job in the neutral zone, turning pucks over, going back on transition.
Now Zegras to set up for Drysdale.
Stick there by Achari to break that up.
I will say your defense has been really
Jolson
fucking
now
good.
connecting.
Yeah.
Fires the puck around. Comes to Zegras. And now Wotherspoon. Puck sent along by Connor Dewar. Just lining.
I don't know. Okay. That's a penalty.
And a penalty coming up here. It is a hold.
Holding. Okay.
And this one
Holding.
going against Pittsburgh.
Holding.
power play in a scoreless game when we return.
Well, that's not good.
The Evergreens.
Okay.
Both power play goals were scored in game 3. Look at our Geico players on the ice with Philadelphia on the power play. Here's Drysdale across. Segrist. Back from Martone. Shot stopped by Sheloff.
Save there by Sheloff. Fought it off.
Well,
with
Sheloff
one
has been
shoulder.
amazing tonight. Holy
Puck knocked
crap.
out at the line by Drysdale.
Yeah,
Across the
I
comes to
cannot.
Martone. And then a good stick from Dewar. Puck winds up over the glass.
Well, good movement on the power play by the Philadelphia Flyers, getting that seam right here, getting set up, and watch this pass all the way across, and a shot there from Martone right off the shoulder of Sheloff's.
And Sheloff's still moving, and Mace as he gets there, and then he kind of moves out. You know how it is. If you're not set, sometimes that second chance opportunity can be problematic, but an athletic-looking save there by Sheloff.
Yeah, he's been good. He's
There it is.
strong here in the
There he is.
Okay, so you guys know how you cheer for
What?
what Dice show earlier?
What?
You're not going to
Chick-fil-A
make a
had a
goalie
2-hour
change,
wait.
Jenny?
Oh, yeah.
Anchor banana pizza.
Let's see.
Yes,
It's early.
and then I went to Chipotle.
Want to head
That's
downstairs,
crazy.
Boosh, after the period?
Fucking rice.
For the broadcast
There's
booth.
no way. The white
The
rice.
coach.
What?
So you gotta settle for the brown rice, which is fine.
Oh,
There's
that's really funny.
no
Scoreless game 6. Now Barkey.
bias.
What the
there.
fuck is your luck with
food right now? Even though white and brown rice is basically the same fucking
Hitchcock
thing,
back
same
to the
shit.
lineup.
Yeah, they're just made with different things.
Out on the second power play unit. Now Ristolainen. For Hitchcock.
It's both rice.
I said, I know it's rice, but it's made with.
made with different things. How do you put different ingredients in rice?
Press skaters on for the Penguins.
They're both
40
rice.
seconds remaining on the penalty.
Only
It's-
thing that's different is the
Bra-
only thing that
Brown rice is whole grain. White rice is refined.
It's the same thing. It's the same rice. He's not
Ma-
wrong. It comes from the same shit.
Well, same shit, different thing.
I just said same. Oh, shorthanded goal. Fuck.
Oh man, that would have been so cool though if we got a shorthanded goal from that. Oh well.
He's not wrong. It all comes from the same grain, different color.
Exactly.
And that's.
Because it's refined, but one's refined, one's not.
I swear to God, if the Flyers score a second goal,
Eater.
Well, it was broken up by Witherspoon. Penalty expires.
There we go.
Foul or
With the centering
consonant?
pass.
Penalty.
Both.
Swatted down ice. Penguins back to full strength. One shot on the power play for the Flyers. It was from Martone. Martone
Wait,
back
they got
on the
one
ice.
shot
Deflects
on
the puck
that?
in. Gerard. We have 3 minutes
That's
remaining in the opening period. Here's Letang.
Next,
And now Mantha. Long pass up the left
Mantha's
wing.
been horrible
Back out it
recently.
comes to Gerard. And the return for Crosby. Back out in front. Picked off by Martone. Martone looking for Zegras. Did not connect. Here's Crosby. Crosby, cross ice. Gerard to the puck. Towards the crease. And then Raquel with a shot covered up by Bladar.
Momentum shifting here.
Well, Mace, you talked about Owen Tippett in the open and how physical he was earlier in the series. Less physical in the last couple games. Here's an attempt to hit Carlson, and that's the guy you want to target. Carlson was ready for it, but I feel like in the last 2 games, Tippett kind of shied away from that stuff. He can't. Yeah, game is all that right there.
Absolutely. I think it pays dividends. You know, you get some hits and you get some licks on those offensive guys and going back for the puck, and it'll pay dividends later in this hockey game. And Owen Tippett, obviously a very powerful skater, has got a lot of skill, but has that physical element to his game that can be so effective.
Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play as Couturier tries to get it deep. Couturier with it once again. Back out for Sealer, cross ice. Trying to get it through to Forster. Now Couturier in behind the net, Carlson. 2:15 remaining, first period here in Philadelphia. Puck sent in by Novak. Now Couturier and Chinnikov. Forster comes over. And now Sanheim on the puck. The tank steps up. Hit by Glendening. Held in by Chinnikov. For Novak. Puck was deflected. Settled down by Couturier. And here's Sanheim. Up the boards and down, and now both teams make changes.
Good.
Now to 1:45 remaining in the first. Kenny Albert, Brian Boucher, Chris Mason from Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philadelphia. Flyers had a 3-0 lead in the series. Penguins have won the last 2. Puck cleared out by Gerard for Mantha. Gathered in by York. Now played by Cates for Michkov. Bouncing puck offside are the Flyers.
The NHL app is your place to get every highlight from every game of every series. Behind-the-scenes playoff content you won't get anywhere else. The most NHL Edge advanced stats. The Stanley Cup playoffs are better on the NHL app.
Ben Hughes, first-year head coach of the Penguins. His team out shooting the Flyers to this point 12-11. Penguins only had 22 and 21 shots on goal over the last 2 games, but they won both. Now Crosby over for the Penguins. Bouncing puck. Settled down by Gerard. Cleared out of the zone. Fired back in by Sanheim. Over the stick of Raquel. Ristolainen hustling back. As we hit 1 minute on the clock. First period.
Okay, 1 minute left in this first period. 1 minute.
Konecny, quick pass across.
Saved by Shilovs.
Puck deflects out of play off the shot from Dvorak.
Nice.
Following our game, it will be game 5. Golden Knights and Mammoth. And then tomorrow on TNT, 7:30 Eastern, Minnesota Wild will look to close out Jason Robertson and the Dallas Stars. Followed by game 6, Edmonton staying alive with a win over Anaheim last night. And Friday on ESPN2, Canadiens and Lightning, game 6. Here's Wotherspoon for the Penguins. Flyers and Penguins,
What's
one
up,
of
Lone?
3 games on the playoff schedule here tonight. Here's Wotherspoon, backhands in. Cut by York and Drysdale. Now Achari with the puck in front.
Oh, nice one by Chari. Nice shot potential.
Now the Flyers clear, down to 20 seconds. There's Tippett waiting for teammates. Tippett sends in behind the Pittsburgh net, caught up on the side of the cage. Lazat with it now for the Penguins to Achari. Down to 5.
3, 2, 1. And all right, well that's the end. That's the end of the first period. That's the end of the first period.
Philadelphia, game 6.
So there we go.
No score.
I think both teams would be
All right,
happy
well,
with their play.
I'm gonna now end this because by the time the second period starts, I won't be here anymore and I have somewhere else to be. So I'm just gonna end this now, and then I have another stream that has a live score, and I'll start that.
Pharmaceuticals
Sure.
Inhibition Report
All right,
is
y'all.
coming up.
Signing out.